Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our next career showcase, where we'll be featuring APS to talk about their wonderful organization, some career opportunity they have. But the jewel of today's event will be speaking with them about their Lineworker Scholarship Program, their Lineworker Scholarship and Pre-Apprenticeship Program. So if you have not already, please do me the courtesy of liking, commenting, sharing this event with your friends, families, colleagues. Let the world know that you're with us. We have a great opportunity. We have a great organization that we'll be speaking with. We got some stellar individuals from within the APS and Friendly House organizations to learn about the Lineworker Scholarship, as well as some other opportunities that APS has available. So again, like, comment, share, let the world know that you're with us. If you're tuning in on Facebook or YouTube, write a comment. Let me know that you're with us. We want to get as many people to the broadcast as possible, because I assure you it's a huge opportunity that we do not want our friends, family, and colleagues to miss out on. I will tell you that just a couple of years ago, I was a part of the a selection panel that was able to interview candidates and award scholarships to those that applied. And I can tell you unequivocally, it was a pivotal moment in my career progression that led me to this point, serving as the Director of Economic Empowerment for the Greater Phoenix Urban League. You know, like many of us drive past the streets on the highways every day, see line workers doing their job, which obviously is a very dangerous one, but we may take for granted the importance of it as it impacts our everyday lives. But one thing that I did not think about previously, not until I served on that selection panel, was what a just simply terrific job it was. It's, it's well paid, comes with great benefits. It's with a stellar, reputable organization like APS. And it provides the opportunity to help someone, establish a career and secure one at that. Many of us think that going to a 4-year institution is the pathway to career security, job security, building a stable foundation for that we can build a family on top of. But it wasn't until I participated in that selection panel that I learned that there's just another pathway to achieve this level of success. And I think those of you who have not already attended college, that maybe you don't believe college is a pathway for you, this would be a great opportunity to learn about a different route that you can go on that is of the blue collar, the type of work that you might be just more accustomed to being outside and working with your hands. And I think if you are interested in it, if you have not considered it, this will be a great program for you to learn a little bit about some of the career opportunities within this field. And so without any further ado, actually a little bit further ado, I will ask everyone, like, comment, share, let the world know that you're with us. We want as many people to tune in to this the program as possible. You got one time to be able to speak to individuals within the field, within APS, individuals from Friendly House who are helping administer the program that can answer any of your questions that you may possibly have about the program. So like, comment, share, let the world know that you're with us. If you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments at any time. We will be taking questions toward the end of the program. So if you have a question that comes to mind, go ahead and write it. Go ahead and write it as soon as it comes to mind so that you don't forget it. But we will take care of questions towards the tail end of the program. So without any further ado, I would like to first introduce Maureen Saloom, Strategic Partnerships Representative with APS. Hello, Maureen. Welcome to the broadcast.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Again, my name is Maureen Saloom, and I just wanted to hop on here real quick, let you know I actually coordinate the Lineworker Scholarship Program on the APS side. So you're going to learn a lot today about who does what and how we can help you succeed. I have the pleasure of working on our community affairs team at APS, and we're just so thrilled that you're here with us today to learn about this wonderful scholarship opportunity. Before we get officially started, I just wanted to thank you for joining us and to thank my colleagues at Greater Phoenix Urban League, Friendly House, and APS for participating today. Thank you again, Jerry, for your support and your kind words about our program. It's just going to get better and better every year. And with that, I will pass it on over to Anthony Herrera, who is our Manager of Talent Acquisition.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I know I speak for everyone when I say we're all very excited to be here and really honored to partner with the Greater Phoenix Urban League on this event. Again, I'm Anthony Herrera. I'm the Manager of Talent Acquisition for APS. I've been privileged to work for APS for 10 years, 9 of those years actually with the Palo Verde Generating Station, the nation's largest clean air energy producer. I'm joined today by several colleagues from across our business that'll be sharing information on the company's culture, careers in the transition and distribution areas of our business. And finally, of course, as everyone has mentioned, the Lineworker program and the scholarship available through Friendly House. I'll be providing a high-level overview of what APS does, our commitment and pathway to clean energy, how to apply, and some helpful information, I think, to help you prepare for a career with us. I'd like to start off by playing a short video just to give you some broader information on our organization. So with that, I'll turn it back to Jerry.
Thank you, Anthony. And, as we do in the real world, it's not as full as we don't have a full production team with us today. Put that together.
You're good. Oh, Jerry, I think we lost audio.
Arizona is one of America's fastest growing states and is one of the top 10 states for starting a business. Arizona is poised for success. Whether it's at work, at school, or at home, APS is there, providing safe, reliable energy to all of our communities. Ranked among industry leaders for power quality and reliability, we continue to build infrastructure to attract and support Arizona's growth. New state-of-the-art technologies even enable us to predict and isolate outages before they ever happen. And when Mother Nature does strike, we are prepared and work side by side with first responders to restore service safely and efficiently. And we're committed to the environment. Our electricity uses a diverse mix of high-performing and increasingly clean generation. We are creating cleaner energy sources by modernizing our Ocotillo power plant, using more solar generation than any utility outside of California. And Palo Verde is still the largest source of carbon-free electricity in the nation. Our commitment to Arizona also means providing great service and options to our customers. That's why we have programs to help customers save energy and money, all while staying informed. And we are powering economic growth in our state. We've created 39,000 jobs statewide, partnered with state and local governments to attract new businesses, and spent $1 billion with local businesses in the past year. We also help keep our communities strong as our employees donate 130,000 volunteer hours each year. Arizona is growing again, and at APS, we'll be here to power the next great chapter of our state together.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jerry. Yeah, I really love that video. I think it just does a phenomenal job about telling APS's story and our importance and in the community and really about what we do. So what does APS do? In simple terms, we generate, transmit, and distribute electricity to industrial, commercial, and residential customers, totaling about 2.7 million all throughout the state of Arizona. We generate primarily using a fuel source to boil water, to generate steam, which spins a turbine connected to a generator to create electricity. We also capture the energy of renewable sources like the sun and wind to create electricity as well. APS, again, has one of the country's cleanest energy portfolios, which includes renewables such as wind, solar, and even geothermal, biogas, and biomass through power purchase agreements. Nuclear, of course, Palo Verde Generating Station being the nation's largest clean air energy producer, and really the largest energy producer of any kind in the United States. And lastly, fossil fuels like natural gas and coal, which continue to provide reliable sources of energy for our customers. Both transmission and distribution refer to the movement of power after it's been generated at the power plant. So to take it a step further, transmission is the movement of electricity from power plant to power substations near populated areas. And distribution refers to carrying electricity from substation down to the end customer. And you're going to learn more about the careers that support that here in just a moment. Next slide. So providing a clean energy future for Arizona is very important to us and to everyone. Our energy mix today is about 50% clean. We want to do even better. And so last year, APS set a bold 3-part goal to achieve 100% clean energy by 2050. A near-term 2030 target of achieving a resource mix that's 65% clean, with 45% of that generation coming from renewable energy, and a commitment to end all coal-fired generation by 2031, which is 7 years sooner than the company had previously projected. This is a really ambitious plan, and we can get there a number of ways, a few of which would be one, supporting policy decisions that leverage market-based technology and innovation to attract investment into our state, as was mentioned in the video. Continuing to invest in developing new energy storage solutions that take advantage of midday solar generation, so being able to store that renewable energy. And then modernization of our electrical grid so that's even more resilient and responsive while providing customers more choice and control. And so hopefully what you've seen in the video and what I've shared with you, all of that sounds really exciting, and you'd like to hear more about the careers that help power Arizona. So I'd like to pivot now to how you find a job and how to apply and really what to expect. So current job listings can be found on aps.com/careers. There's a search feature there that on the careers homepage, and you can use that to refine your search by using keyword, location, or selecting a functional area of our business. APS has over 1,000 unique jobs across all lines of business, and dozens of those positions have training programs available to them. So you don't necessarily need to have experience. We're looking, and I'll talk more about how APS's selection process and how we go about that. But due to the complexity of our business, training programs are often provided, and you're going to, again, learn more about one of those programs specifically as we take a deeper dive later on. Currently, there are about 50 job postings on our website, totaling about 130 vacancies. So there's a lot of opportunities available right now for you to go and explore. We'll be undergoing some changes on our career site in the next few months, and so you may see some added functionality depending on when you apply, such as pre-sorted featured jobs for quick access to the career areas that are most important to you, as well as an overall easier application process and really an improved candidate experience. If you find a position of interest and you do believe your skills and experience are a match, not to mention your interests, we highly encourage you to apply. Take that first step, get your information in front of us, and let us do the rest. In most cases, once you apply, all applications are going to be reviewed when job postings close. Resumes are going to be reviewed by a member of our talent acquisition team who will evaluate all applicants that have applied, their skills and experience against our minimum requirements and any job-related preferences, of course. Generally, you should hear back from us electronically regarding the status of your application within 14 to 21 business days. So it does take a little time. We just ask that you be patient. Again, we're kind of going through the process of keeping that position open and extending the courtesy to all candidates who apply to be considered at the same time. If you're selected for an interview, you'll be contacted directly, usually by phone, for scheduling. I think it's important to note that some of our positions do require testing, and if testing is a requirement, that information will be found in the job listing. A little more there, as a part of the selection process at APS, we do use pre-employment tests that were developed by the Edison Electric Institute. Different tests have been designed for various fields in our industry, such as maintenance, operations, electrical distribution, construction, and skilled trades. There are other field-based tests as well to ensure that candidates are able to perform certain aspects of the job. If you do decide to pursue opportunities after today's showcase, I do have up on the screen there a link to Edison Electric Institute testing resources. So feel free to take a screenshot of that or copy down the link for future use. I'm going to move past interviewing since I'll cover that deeper on the next slide, but I did want to share a little on the highly competitive and valuable benefits that APS provides its employees. Apart from annual salary and hourly rates that APS offers, there are so many. I certainly don't have time to go through all of them today, but I did want to highlight a few. One being our variable incentive plan, which is essentially an annual bonus. I think most people would be familiar with that, equal to a percentage of your base salary or annualized hourly rate, with targets being driven by your level in the organization and based on individual and company performance. I think this is such an awesome component of our total rewards to know that based on your individual contributions and also our collective ones as a company, that I'm going to be rewarded based on our company's ability to achieve its strategic goals and support its community. So I just love that about APS. Also, our annual merit review, it's performance-based as well. We're one of the few companies headquartered in the Valley that still have a pension plan, a company-funded cash balance plan, which vests after 3 years. That's in addition to your 401k savings plan. We have a very robust match, 75% of up to 6% of your self-contribution. So great ways to save and plan for retirement. And then just some other really unique benefits like health services accounts, FSAs, very generous PTO and tuition assistance programs if you're wanting to go back to school. Next slide, please. So lastly, I wanted to share a little on our interviewing process. APS uses competency-based selection and asks behavioral questions in the interview process. As you can see on the left, APS has I'll say defined competencies that are key to the success of every employee and those that are needed at various levels of leadership. Based on the position, we evaluate the candidate's strengths in these competency areas by asking behavioral questions. So you can expect to hear questions in the interview like, tell us about a time when, give us an example of, and by asking the questions in this way, candidates share anecdotes about their professional experience, which we can then use as evidence of that they have a given competency. Also, candidates are asked to respond to these questions using what we call the STAR method. Some of you may be familiar with that. The situation and or task assigned to you, your specific actions in your example. So when you're responding to one of those behavioral questions, using this format helps kind of size up the situation or task that you were involved in. Your specific actions, meaning, sometimes we're part of large groups or teams, but it's really important to know what your individual contributions were in that example. And so being able to share that, and then ultimately what the results were, whether they were good, bad, if sometimes things don't work out the way we planned, and if that's the case, what was the learning coming out of those experiences? And then in some cases, we may not have the results yet. The jury's still out, and we're still waiting on those things. But again, this ensures that candidates provide actual examples and not generalizations so that we can better understand how they've demonstrated certain competencies in the past, in particular, the ones that are very important to us. So I just wanted to point all these two things out because, it's people's experience and credentials that generally get them the interview. But once in the interview, the focus for us really shifts to, do they have the right competencies to be successful at APS? And it's really important that any candidates who want to pursue opportunities with us familiarize themselves with these methods and concepts prior to your interview, so that you are positioned for success. There are numerous resources available that can be found online to help in preparing. So this process isn't unique to APS. It's used very broadly and adopted by many Fortune 1000 companies. That's all I have for you today. I hope it's been helpful. With that, I'll turn it back over to Gary.
Thank you so much for that information and that presentation. Definitely great information, not only with regarding APS and the work that you're doing in the Valley, but the career opportunities and even how to succeed within an interview. So I think one of the most valuable things you talked about, those practice tests, right? So I know many of us, may have fear of testing, but one way to get over that is practice, practice, practice. So that might be a quick way to see if you even would be a good fit for a career with APS. Just hop on that. If, during your next lunch break, take a couple of those practice tests. You might surprise yourself. You might find yourself that you are born to do this particular career field. So I would encourage you all to check out that the practice test as well as the APS website for all of their career opportunities. Anthony, thank you once again for sharing that information with us. Next, I would like to introduce Lila Zaglou-Daly, excuse me. I'm sorry, Lila. Are you okay? Take it away, Lila. I'm sorry.
All right, no worries at all. Hi, everyone. It's such an honor to be here today. And thank you to Jerry and thank you to the Greater Phoenix Urban League for showcasing APS. And what an amazing company this is. So thank you for that. My name again is Lila Zaglou-Daly. I work as the manager of culture and inclusion here at APS. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about our why as a company and where we're focused and how serious we take our culture here at APS. And so, as you think about what you see here, which is our APS promise, on the next slide, you will see exactly what we're talking about. And so our APS promise, we first start with the why, which is our purpose. So as Arizona stewards, we do what is right for the people and the prosperity of our state. As Anthony mentioned before, we are really committed to being able to create a clean and sustainable energy future for Arizona. Last year, we announced our clean energy commitment. So by 2050, we intend to be 100% clean. And to do that, we need to continue our focus, which is our mission, to serve our customers with clean, reliable, and affordable energy. And so with these statements, it's really important that we continue to anchor in our why and our what. However, that's not enough without the how. And so in the next slide, you'll actually see what our APS promise looks like in totality. And this is really the groundwork and the foundation for where our company is headed in the future. And so again, we've got our purpose, which is our why, our vision and mission are what, and our principles are really our how. And this represents the promise that we make to our customers, to our community, as well as to each other around how we get work done. And so one question that we often get from candidates is, what is your culture like? What is it really like to work at APS? And so I'm going to give you a bit of a deeper overview around what some of the behaviors are like, what some of the norms we're establishing, and where this is leading us into the future. And so next, we've got a video that I'd like to share with you that talks a little bit about our promise and actually showcases a lot of the variety of jobs that we have here at APS. So when you're ready, Jerry.
I promise to prepare for the future.
I promise to embrace new ways of working.
To explore new possibilities.
To encourage new ideas. to make safety my first priority. To overcome challenges.
To seek diverse perspectives.
To see opportunity in failure.
We promise to do what's right for the people and the prosperity of Arizona.
To create a sustainable energy future.
By delivering clean, reliable, and affordable energy.
That's my promise.
That's our promise.
That's the APS promise.
I love that video for so many reasons. It is a video that really showcases, again, the variety of jobs that we have here at APS. If you are going to college or intend to get a college degree, we've got jobs for you. If college is not your thing, guess what? We've got really wonderful career opportunities and career paths for you as well. And so you got a chance to see, some of our nuclear generating stations, some of our power plants in the field, as well as, some different corporate jobs that we have, and certainly jobs that we have in our customer care center as well. You might have also heard, some different snippets of behaviors and phrases that we are using here at APS that's really integrated and anchored into our promise and into who we are as a culture. And so if you move on to the next slide, Jerry, right after this one, we've got a quote from some of our own employees. And so I'd like to share those with you. I love being a part of a company that helps Arizona prosper and helps its customers prosper, especially by providing great customer service. And so this is from Marty, who is a part of our customer service organization, but you can really see kind of what resonates with Marty about working for APS. On the next slide, we have another quote from one of our associates. The APS promise means to challenge ourselves and our peers to work together to provide the best solutions for our customers and stakeholders. And so you can see how, what we're doing here at APS is we are creating a purpose-driven organization that's truly centered on the needs of our customers as well as our community. When we think about the future, we know that we're going to need a little bit of guidance around how we can continue to meet and exceed the needs of our customers, how we're going to be able to meet our clean energy commitments that we so publicly stated. And so on the next slide, you will get a deeper view into the how. And so our first cultural principle is design for tomorrow. This is our futuristic principle. This principle helps to lead us down a path around innovation by seeing the way forward, innovating with courage, and valuing learning. And so in that video, you might have caught a comment from one of our employees around learning from failure, and that's exactly what we are doing here at APS. We're not only learning from our successes, but we're taking our failures and we're continuing to learn and extract the value of learning from those as well. Growth mindset is something that has become so important and anchored in our culture, and that really helps to allow us to continue to build a continuous improvement and learning organization as we continue to design for tomorrow. Our second principle is on the next slide, and we're going to talk a little bit about empower each other. And so our CEO, Jeff Goldner, one of his big mantras is speak up, challenge, and empower. And so empower each other truly embodies this. It's so important for us to continue to embrace diverse perspectives, to really seek people that think differently from the way in which I think? And how do we continue to create a safe space for people to have an empowered voice, to share concerns, to share challenges? If you see something, say something. And that's something that Challenge Respectfully really embodies. And then at the end of the day, after we go through a bit of divergence around really getting the best ideas and the best solutions out there, how do we continue to unite as one team? Because we know that without unity, we're not going to be able to achieve nearly what we want to achieve in the future. Inclusion and psychological safety are really important anchors in this work, and we're continuing on our journey on helping our employees to feel that sense of belonging, to feel included, to feel like they're part of something greater than themselves. And that leads us into Succeed Together, which is our very last principle. And so with Succeed Together, what we acknowledge is that it's not just one person crossing the finish line that wins. It's when we can all help each other cross the finish line together as one team. And so we do that through creating clarity, because if we're not clear on what it is that we need to do, then the chances of us succeeding at that are somewhat diminished. Safety is really important to us from a cultural standpoint. It's so important that we keep our employees safe, both physically as well as psychologically. And then at the end of the day, we do what we do in order to deliver for our customers and for our community. And so that really gives you a bit of a holistic overview of some of the different behaviors that we're continuing to reinforce, some of the different behaviors that will continue to lead us into the future to be able to meet our own goals. And on the next slide, I'd like to take a little bit of time to talk about our journey when it comes to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And so I'm not necessarily going to do a deep overview, but I do want to touch on a couple of the really important facets that we have and that we're very mindful of on this journey. Governance is one of those. And so we've recently reformed what our Inclusion Council needs to look like, ensuring that we empower voices across our business and throughout different levels of our organization so that they can have a say around the type of journey that we're on from a DEI standpoint. Education will continue to be important as we embrace diverse perspectives, as we continue to challenge our own thinking, challenge our own biases that we have here at work. We'll continue to think about meaningful measures in this space to make sure that we're continuing to move the needle from a DEI standpoint. And so I'm not necessarily going to go through all of these, but one that I do absolutely want to touch on that is such a strength for us at APS is our employee network groups. And so on the next slide, we have 10 employee network groups. Now, these groups serve a very big purpose when it comes to creating an inclusive culture, when it comes to creating even a sense of belonging, especially for newcoming employees. And so we've got groups for those who have served our country. We've got OLA, which is for our Hispanic employees and allies, and our LGBT Alliance as well. ANDI, which is our African American ENG. And so we've got different representation for different pockets of our community. And what's so great about these ENGs is that it's a wonderful chance to network with other employees that are maybe new to APS, but employees that have been here for quite a while. They have different events throughout the year that focus on networking, that focus on professional development, leadership development, skill building, how to continue, collaborating, mentoring opportunities as well. And so such a great program that we have to really help to ensure that our employees feel a sense of belonging here at APS. And that is absolutely one of our goals. And so I hope that this high-level overview gave you just a bit of a flavor around what it's like to work at APS, what our culture is like, and where our priorities are with our employees. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Jerry.
Thank you, Lila, for that presentation. And I've practiced long and hard to pronounce your last name correctly, and just I'll whip on your title. That was Lila Zaglou Daly, Manager of Culture and Inclusion with APS. Thank you so much for your time and sharing that information with us. So next, I'd like to turn it over to Dennis Anthony. Dennis, welcome to the broadcast.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining the broadcast today. Kind of want to share some of the good news that is apprenticeship programs, and I'm going to talk specifically about the transmission distribution division of APS and our apprenticeship programs. But I would also like to mention that the Palo Verde Nuclear Generating Station has its own registered apprenticeship program with several crafts under that umbrella, as does the Arizona Public Service Fossil Division. The fossil fleet also has several apprenticeable occupations and their own registered apprenticeship program. In T&D, or the Transmission Distribution Division, what we do is we build and maintain the overhead and underground transmission and distribution systems that transport electricity from our generation plants to our customers for the end use. We have 4 apprenticeable occupations that we administrate in the T&D administration, in the T&D organization. We have polyphase metermen. They install control wiring necessary to accurately meter large commercial and industrial customers. We have substation electrician. They build and maintain substations and underground electrical systems, electrical controls, and relaying systems in our transmission distribution systems throughout our service territory. We also have, everyone is a little more familiar with our lineman program. The linemen build and maintain our overhead and underground electrical transmission and distribution systems, also statewide throughout our service territory. The T&D apprenticeship program also administers for our shared services division the trade of automotive mechanic. These folks service, repair, maintain all vehicles and equipment used by APS employees. This includes boom trucks, bucket trucks, man lifts, cars, trucks, side-by-side off-road vehicles, pretty much every piece of equipment that APS employees use in the course of our duties. Our mechanics maintain and repair them. In just a minute here, Jerry and Jose are going to discuss the Lineworker Scholarship Program that Arizona Public Service sponsors. So this program is designed, and it will help prepare applicants for the APS Transmission Distribution Pre-Apprentice Program. And when you apply, you will first apply to the Pre-Apprentice Program. It's approximately 1 year in length, and upon successful completion and passing all prerequisites and required testing, the graduates of the Pre-Apprentice Program will then be eligible to apply for the 4-year federally and state registered apprenticeship program. The 4-year apprenticeship program takes a little more commitment, a lot of hard work, but I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a few minutes. I would like to also add that other candidates, if they're interested and before they get into the, if they don't get into the scholarship program, or if they want to work toward getting into that, a couple of things they can take at the community college is basic electricity. A lot of the nomenclature for that is ELC 119 or something like that at a lot of the community colleges, but basic electricity is important. Folks can take that and start preparing. Also, they need to obtain, for most of our apprenticeship programs, they will need introductory college algebra, and they will have to complete that class. At a lot of the community colleges in Arizona, that is MAT 091 or 090, but the key thing is Intro to College Algebra. Those 2 classes are really important, and if folks are interested, they can sign up and start taking some of those classes anytime. So I hope that helps, and I'll join you again soon. With that, I'll turn it back over to Jerry.
Thank you, Dennis. And that was Dennis Anthony, Manager, T&D Tech and Safety Training. And that was a good starter for this, for the remainder of our discussion, talk about this particular field of work and some of the items and the information you would need, education you would need, as well as those careers that would ultimately lead to. Next, we're going to welcome Jose Vaquera, Vice President of Client Services with Friendly House, along with Jerry Mendoza, President and CEO of Friendly House. Jose and Jerry, my namesake.
All right. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I'm Jerry Mendoza, CEO of Friendly House, and we are very grateful to be part of this partnership. Just to tell you a little bit about Friendly House, when people ask me, what does Friendly House do? And I tell them, we make Americans. And we make Americans via a variety of programs designed to help people become educated Americans, working Americans. And Friendly House does this by providing some comprehensive services that range from a K-8 charter school called Academia del Pueblo, to immigration services, GED, ESL, and even some college prep support and scholarships. We also offer crisis bill assistance, which is funded by one of our sponsors and partners, APS. Thank you very much for that, APS, and rental assistance. And we even help feed the local community via some food distribution at Academia del Pueblo. Now, a lot of people have been helped by Friendly House, and that even includes me. I mean, my mom came here from Mexico knowing no one, without an education or even English. But the first thing people told her was, go to Friendly House. And she did. And they helped our family by providing services that have brought me here today. In fact, the workforce development programs that are still part of Friendly House helped her get a job and made it possible for me to be here today. And that's why this APS Lineworkers program is so important. It's another path for our clients to move forward. So with that quick intro to Friendly House, I'm going to pass it over to Jose Vaquera, who's our Friendly House VP of Client Services, and he'll provide you details about the program. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jerry. So hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm very happy to be here and trying to share this information with you. And thank you for participating. It's a Friday afternoon, and so thank you for your time. So what is this scholarship program? It's an APS Lineworker Program, and it's a scholarship program in partnership with Friendly House. And like Jerry said, Friendly House provides a wide range of programs for the community. And so one of those things that we do is that we also partner with organizations, like Jerry said, APS and many other big corporations, and where we want to provide assistance to our community members and our clients. And so this is something that grew out of that, the idea to bring these opportunities to folks in our communities. You know, it's no accident why there's people out there working as line workers and doing these great things, benefiting the whole city and the state. And, you know, they have to be trained. They have to have know lots of different things. And so sometimes our community members don't really realize what it takes. And so this is the connection. APS provides the funding, as Dennis mentioned, and we are the part of Friendly House where we provide the management and the case management, the guidance and support for the scholarship program recipients. So this is what the scholarship does. It is about a year in length, and what we provide, and along with the support of APS, is up to $8,000 per scholarship recipient. So really what the big part for us now, what we're kind of throwing out there, so you know and you take advantage. And let me tell you, this is the first presentation. This is the very first one for this year, for this cohort. I mean, I have never presented before, so if I'm a little nervous, I apologize. And this is what we want to give you an opportunity to apply. I mean, like Dennis said, this training, this scholarship, the only thing that it does is prepares you for the pre-apprenticeship program with APS. So it's a commitment. And so we're looking for the right people. We're looking for 8 to 10 individuals out there that will be willing to give the time and effort to do this. And you get a lot in return. And so there's no guarantees, though, that you participate in the pre-apprenticeship program, but it gives you an opportunity to get through and be part of that program, but there's no guarantees. So what is guaranteed is if you don't apply and if you don't register, if you don't go through the process, you will not have an opportunity. But so this is the opportunity, right, to be a part of this program. So the eligibility, what do you need to have to be part of this program and be eligible? First, you must be an Arizona resident. I mean, this is something that it's a qualifications. You must be legally authorized to work in the United States, be at least 18 years of age by the time the program begins, must possess a high school diploma or GED, have basic understanding of knowledge of the line worker career field. And let's say that you're considering it, but you're not sure, there'll be orientation sessions. And so that if you're thinking about it and if you want to register. We also need proof of financial need determined by an application through FAFSA and provide an SAR, student aid report. Let's see. And there's other qualifications. There's a physical portion of it where Dennis will talk a little bit more about that. And attend orientation and also have a clean driving record. Why is that? It's because it requires part of the training. Let's say part of the training, it's a CDL certification program. So those 8 to 10 individuals that are selected, they have to participate and be a part of a CDL program. So it's great value. So you get a training, you become certified driver, so with a CDL certification. So it's a commercial driver's license. So it's a really great opportunity. Also, the part of it, there's a community college component. There's a whole year that you have to take classes, electric utility technology. There's 2 places in Arizona where you have to make a commitment to attend these classes. They start in the fall, and it's at Chandler Gilbert. And also our partners at Yavapai Community College and their Chino Valley campus. Those are the 2 areas that provide this specific training for participants. So it's 2 semesters, the CDL, 2 semesters, and other activities that you have to do through APS and also Friendly House. What we do with that funding is that we pay for everything. We pay along with our partners at the City of Phoenix and APS, tuition, books, support services. There's times that sometimes members of our community have a hard time having, they don't have the money, transportation assistance and other support services where we can get you and get you on your way to be successful. I'll be there along with other staff here at Friendly House. If those that are selected are having a hard time finishing it, that's what I'm here for, to provide that support to you. And so this is really it. Like I said, we're looking for 8 to 10 very special and individuals who would give us the time and commitment for this. And I think it's an opportunity, okay? Again, no guarantees, but it's an opportunity to get you through the door. And it's very rewarding, financially speaking. Also, it's a career, if you are successful. So 8 to 10 individuals. I gave you a brief eligibility list there. And so really what you need to do is there's a link that's scrolling on the screen. Go there and register. There's a brief application with just basic personal information that we're requesting. But then there's some questions in there that will help us determine if you're fit for this position. And so what happens, you fill it out, do the best you can. It'll come to me directly. I will get a list together. And then there will be a selection committee. So we will take these applications, these registrations that you're going to submit, and a committee will select 15 to 20 individuals. And then what happens is we will select folks for interviews. Okay, and so that also is a huge part of the selection process. So once that happens, there will be interviews, and then the award happens. Sometime later this year. I mean, there's still dates that we haven't worked out yet, but like I said, this is something that we're finalizing, and I'm happy that you're the first to hear about it for this cohort. And so I'm sure I missed a lot of different things here, but really Dennis will give you more information. And if there's other questions later that you may have, please go ahead. There'll be time for a Q&A. Okay, with that, I'll pass it on to Jerry.
Thank you, Jose and Jerry, for that information and telling us about Friendly House and the wonderful work and history that Friendly House has, particularly your personal story. That was inspiring, to say the least. And Jose, I just want to reiterate one thing, that if you are watching the audience, this is an opportunity. Like this isn't, nothing's guaranteed, but this is your opportunity to come to the table, learn a little bit about the program, and prove yourself, prove your worthiness of it. It's going to be a lot of work. Like, make no bones about it, make no mistake about it. It's going to be a lot of work, but it's worth it. And that is unequivocally. And we'll actually hear from one individual who's gone through this program previously and just a bit later on. But prior to that, I want to bring Dennis Anthony back onto the program. And again, Dennis Anthony is the manager of T&D Tech and Safety Training. Take it away, Dennis.
Thanks, Jerry. I'm going to talk a little bit about the requirements and kind of a little more detail about the programs, but I would like to share a little bit of my own story. This is my 41st year in the electrical construction and utility industry. I started in 1980 as an apprentice electrician, completed my apprenticeship in 1984. After a few years as a journeyman, I went back to college, got my bachelor's degree at Arizona State. And then, you know, I've worked pretty much since that time, managing and teaching in apprenticeship programs. And they are a passion for me, and I see them, they have the ability to change people's lives. Like Anthony talked about before, the pay and benefit packages for folks who are skilled craftsmen are really quite good, particularly in this state. So I'd like to talk about the requirements, though. Must be 18 years old, must possess a high school diploma or GED, must be legally authorized to work in the United States. You must have a Class A CDL with no mechanical restrictions and manual transmission endorsement. And what that means is when an applicant goes to test and get their CDL, they have to test in a vehicle that has air brakes and also has a manual transmission, because the CDL requirements changed back in 2015. So after meeting the minimum requirements and successfully submitting your application, candidates will be subject to the following requirements. They must pass the EEI CAS test that Mr. Herrera mentioned earlier. They must meet the requirements of the essential job functions. They must successfully pass a physical field evaluation, and they must complete an oral interview. And then the Joint Apprenticeship Committee makes selections based on the scores of those activities. Applicants must be very physically fit and in good shape for the field evaluations. It's a very physically demanding evaluation. It calls for strength, stamina, and the ability to read and understand simple instructions and simple blueprints and diagrams. You'll be working hard, performing some physical activities, and also building some models with simple instructions. If I could give you any advice on how to prepare for this, it is cardio, cardio, cardio. Make sure that you are working out and in good shape a couple of months prior to these taking place. We actually, for the class of 2021, on Monday, we will start our field evaluations and interview cycle for 2021 for the pre-apprentice class. Again, the interview questions are based on behavioral-based questions. I'd encourage the candidates to follow Anthony's advice and Google search those behavior-based questions and practice with friends and family on how to answer them. The pre-apprentice and apprentice programs provide our employees the opportunity to earn while they learn a trade in a respected industry with good pay and a generous benefit package. The pre-apprentice program is a blend of classroom and on-the-job training learning experiences as they learn the basics of the trade and kind of preparing them for the testing and to see if they can get through and be successful in the formal apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program is a 4-year commitment to both on-the-job learning and related education classes. Our students typically spend about a little over 200 hours per year in class, and they complete over 2,000 hours of on-the-job training every year with their regular time and overtime. Apprentices will be challenged throughout the program to demonstrate competency as they progress through the 8 steps of apprenticeship. It's broken up into 8 steps, roughly 6 months apiece. The apprentices will be evaluated and granted wage increases as they progress through each step of apprenticeship. Apprentices are expected to show up for work on time, demonstrate a good attitude, willingness to learn, accept feedback, and constructive coaching as they progress. The work is physically and mentally demanding, while at the same time very rewarding. The apprenticeship will prepare participants to achieve a journeyman credential that's recognized throughout the United States and Canada. And I'm very proud to kind of let you guys kind of share with you that in 2019, the last year that there was actually an International Lineman Rodeo, the Arizona Public Service, one of the Arizona Public Service apprentices in our group was the #1 lineman apprentice in the United States at the International Lineman Rodeo. So we're very proud of that. We also had another apprentice who competed who was in the top 10. So I think 2 apprentice linemen in the top 10 in the United States is pretty good. And we do very well in these competitions. Also with us today, I'm going to give it back to Jerry, but I'm really pleased because we have an apprentice, a journeyman who went through the program, Jeff Jackson, just an outstanding apprentice and an outstanding journeyman. And I'm so glad that he was able to spend some time with us talking about his experiences today.
Thank you once again, Dennis. And each time I talk with you, and each time I'm exposed to this program, I learn more and more. And that's just an important tidbit that yes, you are learning the trade, but you are learning. Evidently, you are learning the best. When you're placing individuals top of their peers and top 10 of their peers as well, that should give you comfort that you're learning from the best, the highly skilled, most talented group of teachers there are. And before we bring Jeff Jackson onto the program, I just want to remind everyone in the audience, if you do have questions, send them in now. We'll open the floor to Q&As in just a few moments. I saw a couple of questions that came in. I took note of it. We will get those asked during the Q&A portion, but don't drop your questions in the chat. We'll get them answered. Last, it's not too late. If you have friends and family who may be interested, maybe maybe they've been sitting on your couch and just looking to get them activated in something. As COVID, as the pandemic comes to a conclusion, we hope. Feel free to invite them, share them. There's still a lot of time to learn about this opportunity. And again, with the Q&A portion, they'll be able to ask their questions directly. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce Jeff Jackson, journeyman electrician with APS, graduate of the program. Welcome, Jeff.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Welcome, everybody. You've talked to a lot of people that have behind the scenes of how this program works and people from Friendly House, but I just kind of talk you through my experience getting into the program and making it through. So I grew up in a small town in Arizona. Not a lot of people made very much money. High school was just to play Friday nights. When I graduated, I didn't have any idea what I would do. I was just in the real world, no clue. I knew college wasn't really for me. I did take a couple random classes, and then I met a troubleman in Williams, troubleman lineman that kind of kept telling me, hey, you need to go to line college, So eventually I applied to Chandler Gilbert's line college down there, and I got in. So I went down. I didn't know anything about it. Didn't really know anything about the job at all, really. So you get there, and you immediately learn to climb. And a lot of the kids there, their dad was a lineman, uncle was a lineman, but not everybody. People like me that had no clue what they were getting into. It was tough. You had to conquer a lot of fears and really be committed, to get through that process. But it helped prepare me. So I got done with Chandler Gilbert Line College. It's about a year long. Enjoyed myself, learned a lot. And then I applied with APS. Didn't get in the first year. One thing I learned, I was kind of naive, is it's competitive, definitely competitive thing to do. So didn't get in the first year. I got on with another company, kind of helped pad my resume, helped prepare me to get on with a company as competitive and demanding as APS, So I got in the second year, but I knew how hard it was the first year. So like Dennis said, you really need to be prepared. I worked out like crazy. I studied. They have online CAS tests to help prepare you for the CAS test. And then I even studied with my fiance, my wife at the time, my fiance, she'd interview me and I'd try to answer things in the STAR format that APS goes by. So I really prepared, because there's a lot of guys out there, a lot of women out there, and you got to get it. There's a lot of people. So you got to kind of stand out. So got in that first year, got hired on, and immediately I knew APS was a more demanding and a better company to be at than I was at. They immediately put you through a grunt school, just kind of to prepare you for what's expected of you when you get on the crews. And then you also have classes. They'll put you through basic electricity, a lot of classes throughout the year while you're working. So you really kind of have to learn to balance work and school, because they're both equally important. At the end of my first pre-apprenticeship year, I made it through the first year as a pre-apprentice lineman. I was climbing at the end of my 8th week of climbing school and tore my ACL. Had to get rescued from the top of the pole with a bucket truck. And I thought I thought Dennis Anthony was going to tell me to kick rocks. Sorry, you're not here for what we hired you to do. You can't perform that anymore. But APS really had my back, and the union really had my back, and really helped me move me on into the substation apprenticeship. So that's something that you don't really learn about in line school. There's a lot of other opportunities within the company, a lot of trades that are great. There's the substation, the polyphase, the mechanics, and then of course the linemen that everybody knows about. So I went through that pre-apprenticeship as a substation electrician, passed the test, and then I got into the apprenticeship. And then that's kind of where you have to stay focused. You really got to stay committed to your end goal. There's schooling after hours on your own time. I know a lot of guys that cancel vacations. You know what I mean? You might miss some stuff with your kids or with your wife, but you have to be committed. It's a demanding field, a demanding program, and you have to stay committed, or else you can find the door. So it's really about staying focused to make it through that 5 years. And then I stressed myself out, but finished this last October and got a job in Northern Arizona as a substation journeyman. And I'm loving it. It's definitely a lot less stressful not being in the program, but it's been great. And I did want to mention, this is a huge opportunity through Friendly House to really help people get into it. But just be aware that it is competitive, and you might not get in the first time. I know a lot of guys that tried 4 times before they finally got in. There's other line colleges. There's other companies to help you get prepared to come to APS. So if you don't get in the first year, then keep trying. There's other avenues to help prepare you for that next year. So that's kind of my input on that one, to just really be committed. It's a great career. It's really changed my life and my family's life, and that's a great company. Back to you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jeff. And we'll bring everyone back up to the screen. We'll open the floor to questions from the audience, as well as a couple of prepared ones if we do have the time. So, Jeff, but thank you for sharing your story. And again, one thing that you mentioned a few times that I think we've been trying to harp on, that it's not going to be easy. And if that's any sort of, if that communicates any message to you, that it's worth it. Like nothing that is worth it will come to you easily. But again, I'm happy to have someone who not only has gone through the program, I know Dennis has gone through as well, but going through a apprenticeship program. But Jeff is, I guess within the last 2 to 3 years, I take it.
I just topped out as a journeyman this last October. So
this last October. So someone who is recent to completing the program can speak to you directly about it. So without any further ado, I know we have a couple of questions coming in from the audience. Feel free to keep dropping those questions into the chat. We'll get to as many as possible. And for our panelists, I'll pull up the question, I'll read it, And I'm sure each of you know who's best prepared to answer it, so feel free to just jump in and do so. This first question comes from Alistar Sabet, and forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Are students awarded, are the awards, are they awarded directly? Are the students awarded directly, or do the funds go to the school? I know some students' eligibility and how much each student gets is based on their need, determined by FAFSA, which means each student doesn't get the equal amount. So she's asking, do the funds go to the student or pay directly to the school?
I could take that, Jerry. So that's a very good question. So the scholarship is up to $8,000. Okay, so yes, it's depending on need, but most of the people, all the people that are selected, have a demonstrated need already. So the funding goes. We pay for the tuition, we pay for books, and so there's some things that are emergency supportive services that students may need. And that's something that the students would come and talk to me about, and then we make a determination if we can help the student directly. But really, the money goes to the school tuition. That's really the primary area. But yeah, it's up to $8,000. It varies. Yes, very good question. The need is different, but it just really depends on what participants need, and some funding may go directly to the student. Based on the situation and based on the need. Really, the idea is that participants are successful, and that's what we're going to work on. So case management, that would be a big piece.
Thank you, Jose. And I don't know if we have this information readily available, but how much would someone expect to come out of pocket after, if they are awarded the scholarship? Do you have that number available?
The idea is that nothing would come out of pocket. But once they qualify for financial aid, whatever financial aid will assist and be part of the package, but nothing will come out of pocket. The rest will be covered by the scholarship.
Got it. So effectively, the entire program can get covered with the scholarship as well as financial aid. Thank you for that question. The next one we have up from Brandon Steele, and he asks, when applying through Maricopa admissions for schooling, what would the field of interest be considered for APS jobs? Is anyone able to answer that? Maybe Dennis? What major would they be studying if they're applying through Maricopa? Maricopa Community Colleges, I take it?
So those classes, as I mentioned before, if you're studying through that, there are utility electric programs at the various colleges. Yavapai has one. Chandler Gilbert, also Dysart has a utility electrical program where they have specific classes. But as I mentioned before, basic electricity is a class definitely that anyone interested in this career field should take, along with algebra, at least through the introductory college algebra level. Those would be very important, and would also encourage you to check out the different, even if you don't get the scholarship, remember that those programs, the Line College program at Chandler Gilbert and at Yavapai, are open to students. Of course, it would be pay or, figure out those financial obligations, but it is open to anyone. And there are several good line schools throughout the country as well. All of them different varying prices, but several good ones throughout the country. So I hope that helps answer that question.
Yeah, if I could add, Dennis, also at Yavapai, it's electronics technology is what you would look for at Yavapai. And then there's a couple of areas that there's a flyer and they'll provide that information for you.
Thank you much, Jose. We have a couple of prepared questions, and I guess we'll start with asking for, and maybe this would be from Jose or Jerry, just a recap of how to apply for the Lineworker Scholarship.
Yes, of course. So really the main thing and the first thing that you want to do, if if you qualify for it and if it's a commitment that you want to make, it's scrolling through the screen right now. Go into into that link, into our website, and just register. It's a very basic registration form that'll come directly to me. It's the basic personal info, and then also there's some questions that will determine whether you're a fit for the scholarship program. So please, that would be the first thing that you do. From there, the other steps happen, but you have to do that first.
Thank you, Jose. So, and we'll pivot to some of those who work with APS. And, you know, obviously we're talking about the line worker program as well as some of the other careers, but, you know, let's kind of talk about your perspective and your experience with the organization. So my question is, what motivates you to work at APS? What do you love most about your job or your role? What do you love most about your role or the company as a whole? You want to take a stab at that?
I can take it, Jerry.
Thanks, Lila.
Yeah. So I'm actually a second generation APS employee, and APS has been a part of my life for many decades at this point, and it's just an amazing place to work. Our culture is awesome. The people that you work with are so caring, but I think, you know, what motivates me about working at APS is the fact that you're definitely working for a greater good and something greater than yourself. As an energy provider, we power the community. Hospitals don't run without electricity. Schools don't run without electricity. And so what we do each and every day around keeping the lights on, keeping energy flowing into our community can't thrive without what APS does each and every day. And there are so many roles that play such a critical part in that. So that definitely motivates me every day working at APS.
Thank you, Lila. And we have a couple more questions coming in from the audience, but before we get to that, I just want to see if anyone else wanted to kind of share their experience of working at APS.
I can jump in, Jerry.
Great.
So starting off, what motivates me to work at APS, I mean, just seeing how it's kind of changed my life and my family's life getting here, and knowing what it's like to work in a trade or blue collar, not at APS. You know, I've seen both, so I know how great of a company it has been to me. And what I love most about my role is, I guess it's fun being a first responder when things break and stuff's messed up, and be able to run out and put lights back on for communities or a business, and just how well APS has your back once you're here. You know, I've seen that firsthand.
Thank you, Jeff. And you touched upon something that, again, you know, prior to the pandemic, you know, maybe not enough credit or value has been given to those, you know, in this field. But the term first responders, many of us, you know, thought of police and fire department and the ambulance. But, you know, both frontline and first responders have kind of taken on a new definition during the pandemic. So, you know, this is life. This is keeping lights on, this is keeping the heat on. So the importance of this field in the industry, I think many of us recognized it, but probably didn't appreciate it as much as we should have. So thank you for sharing that information. Again, if you are in the audience, we have time for maybe one more question. And actually, we'll go ahead and ask this one. How has APS responded this year, given the many challenges, the many changes and challenges that have transpired? Lila, do you mind taking this one as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think one prime example that has been a challenge for us, certainly, and for our entire community, really, is this whole pandemic. And you know, what we had to do, how we had to pivot and adapt and be agile as an organization, sending most of our workforce home, especially the ones that have, you know, more corporate jobs. And it was really funny because we were already in the works in terms of having a flexible work kind of pilot and program in place. But with this pandemic, it completely accelerated that. Most of our workforce went home in March of 2020. And so we really, with the company's support, had to completely adjust the way in which we worked, adapting to a really virtual environment. And the company was so extremely supportive in terms of putting our employee well-being and safety at the forefront in terms of making that decision, which wasn't an easy one.
Thank you. Again, if you are in the audience, we have just about less than 5 minutes to ask any questions that you may have. So if anything comes to mind, you want to get it asked, please feel free to chime in on that. It looks like, Anthony, did you want to take a stab at that as well?
Yeah, I would echo what Lila said. I mean, you know, especially from an HR perspective, when you think about completely, well, not completely, but transitioning a large portion of your workforce to remote work, and how many of our processes are really centered around in-person and face-to-face interactions. Just being able to work through that, and I'll say the agility and adaptability of the organization was really a sight to be seen. I mean, it's tremendous how not only the leadership team, but really every employee at APS really rallied around, you know, this change, and realigning all the things that we do and just the way we do business to adapt to putting that safety first and protecting our workers and others from COVID-19. So it's just been amazing. We continue to work remotely. As you can see, I'm at home, as are most of the I'll say non-essential workers, the folks that aren't required to work in the field. But yeah, I'll go back to that question about what I love about working here. It's that I can see direct line of sight in terms of the work that I do to the company's strategic objectives and goals. And so I think every employee has that. And so there's a lot of value in knowing that the work that you're doing is helping the company succeed and the community as well. So I personally like that. I think there's just so many opportunities here. There's definitely a mindset and philosophy within the organization that promotes professional development and growth and promotions within the company. So I'm a great case study. I started 10 years ago. I've held 6 or 7 different roles, spanning, you know, all across different areas of human resources, and here I am. So the work doesn't get boring. There's always something new to be done, and you know, there's I'll say opportunities for steady progression and career growth for everybody.
Thank you, Anthony. And so thank you everyone who was a part of the program today. Everyone that chimed in, had questions, had comments. Thank you from the teams of APS as well as Friendly House. I see some folks, you know, kind of may mention and kind of giving gratitude for the event. I hope you all go out and actually apply for this program. But before we close out, I wanted to bring Maureen on one last time to give some closing thoughts on behalf of APS.
Thanks, Jerry, and thanks again for everyone for participating today. Again, we really sincerely hope that you consider either a career at APS in general, a career in energy, or the Lineworker Scholarship Program. Like Anthony said, I'm another great example of a job you maybe never thought you could have at a utility. I work in community affairs. I get to work with our nonprofit partners across the state to ensure that we are helping them be successful and put on programs like this, and you know, help provide meals to the community and transportation, and making sure, you know, children graduate from high school and go to college and get great jobs. APS we have 6,200 employees with the most amazing types of career paths that you would never know exist at a utility. So again, we sincerely hope that you look towards APS as a career choice. I've been here for 3 years, and I know for sure I will retire from APS for sure. I can't wait to be proud to be an APS retiree. So thank you again so much for taking the time to participate today, learn about our program. Please give us a shot, especially if the Lineworker Scholarship Program is something you're interested in. Go to that website, fill out the form. Also, just check out the aps.com/careers just to see what we do have available. But thank you again to Greater Phoenix Urban League, to Friendly House, and to all of my colleagues at APS. And I will pass back over to Jerry.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists. Again, the teams at both APS as well as Friendly House for being a part of today's program. Thank you for everyone in the audience for tuning in, being attentive, asking some excellent questions that we had. If you are looking for a job or just want to be aware of it, we do have an email list as well as our Instagram and Facebook job boards where you can learn about opportunities with great companies like APS, as well as some of our other community partners. You can visit gphxul.org to learn more about the programs we have here at the Greater Phoenix Urban League, in addition to some of the career opportunities, both from our workforce development perspective as well as our entrepreneurship center. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in, and have a great weekend, great and safe weekend.